wanted it to be presented by a YLP, a Young Leader Program an affiliate, but unfortunately he got busy. Uh, but keep that in mind. If you want to do it, we are there. We'll support you, and that platform is available for you. That's your platform. You can own it. So make mental notes on that, and let's keep it a very interactive session. If you have any queries, just you could just ask them right now, and keep it flowing. So our today's session is about teamwork building. This is a very, very important area because you'll be working in teams, and if it's important to understand the logic of why you need to have good, you need to be a good team player, why you need to have the skill set. What is a team? The definition of a team is, and most of you would know, a group of people with a full set of complementary skills required to complete a task, job, or a project. I'm sure you guys must have been part of some team, be it at a school, at an ALP, at a college, or at an employer. So you must have worked in teams. So you would know what a team is. And team members operate with high degree of interdependence. This is very important. When you're part of a team, there would be an expectation when you're working in a team that you would deliver on your own. You should be good enough to take tasks on your own, because there would be a lot of tasks which would be given to a particular team on a particular project, but you could work independently as well. Share authority and responsibility for self-management. You could share, if you work in silos, a team would not actually be a functional team. You'd have to have trust and have faith in other team members as well. This is very important. You are accountable for collective performance also. Accountability is a very, very important aspect of what your job roles would be. And there is no one better to assess your work than yourself. So be honest with yourself, and that self-reflection will take you places. Work toward a common goal and share rewards. This is very important that you guys, if someone has a different view on how the project or how the team should operate, if there is no consensus, there is a very, very big possibility, chance that it becomes a dysfunctional team. And as a case study, and I was going through this presentation, and we are creating it, I just thought about, why not put a case study and give an example of a dysfunctional team. It's not related to the corporate world, but you could actually relate to it. I hope it relates to, because you must have seen this particular incident. What happens in a dysfunctional team? Operate with a high degree of independence goes down. Share authority, self-responsibility, self-management goes down. Are accountable and collective performance goes down. Work towards a common goal, that also goes down for shared rewards. So what happens? Pakistan versus India, Champions Trophy, first match. All of this was what was happening with the Pakistani team. There was nobody who just took responsibility. The self-management side of it was also failing. Nobody took accountability of what they had a plan. They knew what they had to do, but they were all over the place. And this was one of the lowest points of for the team, Pakistan existing cricket team, and things went really, really bad for them. Now, what are the stages of forming team formation? The first stage is forming. Forming is members get together, they get to know each other. It's an ice-breaking kind of an activity. The first time that you're working with someone, you have to know what they are about, what they feel, what competencies or what areas that are their strengths. So there has to every team has to go through this stage. This is the Truckman model stages of team formation. You could actually Google it and you can actually find a lot of detail on all of this as well. The second stage is storming, when members try to resist control and even challenge each other. That's the storming part. So uh, you there's a so member comes to resist control and group leaders and show hospitality. Basically, storming is another process where the team, as a team, finds out what they have to do in order to get to that particular goal, to that and how can they contribute to that vision. So that is a very important part of team building. You have a lot of personality clashes even, but that is a process that a team has to go through in order to get to norming and then performing. Norming is when people understand each other's work style, people give each other space, developing close relationship, feeling a companionship. And I guess all of us have gone through all of this phase. When you get to know someone, initially you just get to know who they are. And then when we work together on a particular project, we show what views we have, and we sort of challenge each other views, which is normal. And norming is when the people try to understand each other and move forward. And when they move forward, they start performing. Performing is something which why teams are formed. When they have a common goal, the whole point of actually a team formation is so that they perform. And the last, not the least, is adjourning. Adjourning is every team has to, then when the task is completed, the team disassembles and team members go their way, and the process restarts again from forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. So the importance of a great team player. If you show that you have an ability to work well with others, this is something most of the HR people look when they are recruiting anyone. If they feel that you have a personality which is not compatible, or which is if you can't work in a team or in a project, that should go very much against you. So that is an area. If you feel that you have a personality, or you can't work in teams and you work more you perform much better if you are working alone on a particular project, then this would have a negative effect on your career. So you need to develop those skills. Invite you to bring your strengths into play in another team setting, in high profile business critical projects, part of career growth, because these are the main key components of your job would be about working in pairs. A lot of jobs which are being dished out would be a team related thing, and you'd have to have a compassion, you'd have to have an understanding of others, and you'd have to understand the dynamics of why you're doing it. So this is very important for you. Now there is a Belvin model, your strengths, and you use your strengths. So just see the different types of team players which are available. There is the shapers, people who challenge the team to improve. Implementers, the people who get things done. And you could be a shaper and implementer at the same time as well. Just to let you know the types of team roles that they are. Uh, the completers, finishers, people who complete their task. You could be an implementer, you could be a completer. That is something that you need to find. You need to have a self-reflection where you stand. Coordinator, people who take on the traditional team leader role. A good team leader is an excellent coordinator. They are good at giving out directions and instructions, and they know the entire team, their strengths that they are. So, resource investigators, people who work with external stakeholders to help the team meet its objective. So in every team you would have them that they would ensure that you have the resources to actually complete that task. You have those gadgets or those instruments which are required to complete that particular task, and there are members within the team who look after that. Plants, people who come up with new ideas, new approaches, because it's all about being innovative. So you need that type of a person within a team. Monitors, evaluators, people who analyze, who do self-reflection, evaluate ideas, do accountability kind of a thing. Specialists, people who have specialist knowledge and who are really good at that particular task. So you could have a bunch of these attributes at your end. This is something that you need to find out which one of is your strength. And if you feel that you need to work in a particular area, then this is the time, till you become member, take up a membership role. You need to see where you fit in. So understanding team roles, like I mentioned, there are so many different team roles. There are 26 different group roles, which you can be played by one or more people within a team. Those roles are divided in following categories. Task roles. The roles are needed to take a project step by step through to a completion. Roles include information seeker, opinion giver, and critic evaluator. So you might be given a task role. Personal and social roles. Those roles which help the group function well and include encourager, compromiser, and gatekeeper, expediter. So you could have this role also who sort of encourages everyone, because at times tasks are pretty difficult and teams needs to be motivated. So you need to have someone who sort of motivates everyone. Dysfunctional or individual roles. These roles cause discord in the group and can disrupt progress. These roles include aggressor, dominator, and recognition seeker. So you have these kind of people also within the team, but you need to know how to manage these kinds of individuals. So that the team, the functionality is not compromised at any point. Do we have any questions with it?
We have one question so far, and the question is if you can identify the difference between a team and a group.
A team and a group.
Yeah.
If you should go through the definition of a team, was a group of people. So you could say, yeah, group is it's you cannot have a team definition without using the word group. There is a lot of similarities in it, but if you have a good understanding of what a group is, then a team is pretty much similar to that. And I would please encourage everyone to keep asking questions. Keep it rolling. Anybody wants to be part of WILE, by the way, it's on a separate note. Any questions? So, do ask more questions, please. Understand team's objective. Ask yourself, why are we here? This is something everybody should do, position audits of themselves, because if you are doing or if you are part of a particular team or a group, you should know why you are part of this group and what you will gain out of this. What is the perfect ending to the project? And I would actually further elaborate on this. It's not just about the project; it's also about what's the perfect ending for you. Also, in that, what if the project becomes a super successful project? What would you get out of it? You should also have clarity on that. What is your deadline? This is very important so that you never lose focus of timelines, because timelines is exactly what why teams are assembled. They are given a particular task with timelines. If the task does not have a timeline, I mean, there's no point of actually forming a group or a team. What is your budget? What is our budget? So this actually sets out the scene of all the constraints that you would have. So it's just not about the budget, but also the headcount, the people that would be involved. Sometimes you would be given a task which would require a headcount of like 5 or 10 people, but you would have just 2 or 3 people. So those are the times that you'd have to think out of the box to actually complete that task. Who is in charge of implementing our ideas? So is it your line manager, or is it your someone close to you who's working on it? But you need to know who exactly is running this team. There could be a lot of situations like in our office, like I could be leading a particular project, but my boss would just be part of the project. So these types of situations also occur within an organization where people are given chances to actually prove their skill set. So, but you should also always know that if a task has been given to that team and you're part of a team, who is in charge of that team, so that you have a better understanding of the functionalities of that team. What people and responsibilities will achieve, the responsibilities will each of us have. So this is also scope of work is very very important. Whenever you are taking up a new task, you should always ask this question that what is the scope of your work, and the timelines again also sort of links in well with that. So understand what you can do. Be reliable. A good team player is someone who you could count. If you're stuck in a difficult situation, and we've all been there. I mean, I'm also an accountant. You'd be stuck with strict timelines, month-end reporting, and stuff like that. You need to be reliable. Something, so you need to be someone. An accountant needs to be someone that someone who people trust. If you don't have these attributes, then it would become difficult. Be a good communicator. Communication is a skill which is becoming mandatory for all types of job roles in future, and it is mandatory, right? Even right now. And communication is not just about how eloquent you are in expressing yourself, in giving out speeches, but it's about listening as well. Comprehension is very very important to be a good communicator. You need to understand why someone is saying what. So this comprehension would actually help you grow and take you places. And this is another very important aspect of being a team player, which is staying flexible. Because you'd go whenever you're part of a team, you meet people with different personalities, with different diverse backgrounds, different diverse educational backgrounds even. So you need to be flexible with everyone. You need to understand them and let them understand you for the team to work in a better way. So, if I were to summarize it, it were- it the cycle of life, the cycle of team building is importance of a great team. You should all have an understanding. I hope the things which we have discussed in this presentation, touched up with which we have touched upon, would have highlighted. But you would already, I'm sure, would know and would be aware of importance of great team play. Where if you must have been part of a team and you must know how important it is to be a good team player. Use your strengths. You need to understand what your strengths are. And by the way, if you guys want this presentation, just send us an email. We could actually send this presentation to you as well. Understand team roles. So it's also very important to, if you are taking a task, again, like I mentioned, scope of work is very important. You should know what your scope of work is, understand what you can do, and you should know about your limitations as well. Don't overcommit within in a team function whenever team is functioning. So if there is a task which has been given and you feel that you're not confident, you should tell that. You should be transparent in letting others know. There's no point in actually taking up stuff which you can't actually deliver on. Implement what you have learned, and this is the process of life. You have to keep on learning and keep on implementing it. So this is in a nutshell. And as I mentioned, we wanted to keep it a very interactive session. So please keep asking us questions.
Okay, so there's one question by Jane. He's saying if there's one rule of successful team, what would that be?
Uh, Successful team, and I've been part of teams while I was working as a in finance department. I guess it was about having confidence on others. Like I still remember, I was part of I was relationship manager for business and finance for Secure Portfolio and Standard Chartered Bank. So there were a lot of times where people needed my help and I was there for them, and there were a lot of times where I needed someone's help because the task at hand was really difficult. So I could always count on them. When I got married, I was only given like weeks of vacation, and there was someone who was my backup, who was actually working for me, helping me out on that. And then there was another guy who got married, so I was there as his backup. So that's a good team, I would say, because we were there for each other. There was no politics. There was nothing. It was not like it's not my task. I'm not going to do it. It's Temu's task. There was someone who was there who raised his hands and who helped me out, and I had an honor of helping others out. So team is all about confidence. You know, the confidence that you have on each other. Any more questions?
No, that's about it so far.
Okay. So, and what a successful team would have. So, I have put smiley faces on it, so that everybody gets and understand that it's a positive. We started off from a negative side. Now we are talking about the positivity side of it. Operate with high degree of independence. If you work with high degree of independence, if you share authority and responsibility and self-management and are accountable for collective performance, work toward a common goal and share rewards, what's going to happen? This is going to happen. So this guy did not get an opportunity in the first match, and in the final of a big tournament, meaning a pressured situation, which you guys would also go through. Finance is a place where you generally are in really pressure cooker situations. He performed. He performed because the team had confidence. They were they operate in high degree of independence. He got out on a no ball, I guess, if I'm not wrong. He was involved in a run out as well, and he could have just, it could have shaken him, and he could have just lost his way. But he had the full backing of the team that actually helped him to make a century in a final, which is a big thing. And same goes for this guy who was there and who started, who took the responsibility on his own, and he said that I'm the best bowler and I'm going to do this. And this happens quite a few of us within the finance functions as well, where someone actually just stands up and they say that we are having this issue, and they just raise their hands and they would say, I'm going to do it. And this is what gets you noticed as well. If you have this mentality where you sort of don't shy away from hard work or shy away from challenges, people would actually have a lot of respect, and this happens in finance functions as well. Although they both are different, it looks like a different example altogether. A cricket match comparison with a finance function, but I see a lot of similarities because I've been part of a finance function for a considerable part of my life. Are there any more questions?
Mm, right brothers at the first flight. Okay, no, they aren't.
So let's talk about the YLP program again. If you want to be part of the YLP program, and as I mentioned earlier, and if you want to give out these presentations, there are people within the ACC offices who would help you. And if you want to be more active in YLP program, just let us know. We can help you in that. And in order to be part of this, please be active on ACC register as well. It's very important that you are there. Uh, you should be paying off your subscriptions and whatever, and you should be on our AC or our register as well. So this is very important that how we plan this and what types of developments that you need. We can only gauge or guess, but the best solution would be if it comes from you. If you let us know that you want a particular training in a particular area, then we could actually give you that. And there would be opportunity for face-to-face trainings as well. So keep yourself involved with the Gear Up projects, and just let us know what next needs to be done. So, are there any questions? Let me just check. Sorry. Can you check any questions?
Let me check if there are any questions. How to deal? Yeah. So there's a question by Abdullah. He's asking how to deal with negative team players.
Actually, Abdullah, we live in a society which has got a lot of not just the society. In fact, the environment that we are going through these days, it is there. You always come across someone who has a negative view about things, but that does not mean that that should not make you negative. If someone is being negative or being not non-responsive, you should keep on doing your thing. And people change. People become. I've witnessed people who were very negative when they started or took a project. And they had total, disregard for other people also. In some ways, but they transformed and they became, one of the main people of that team. So you need to work on what you have, and that is that you are going to be a good team player. And once positivity flows from one person to another, so there's a very strong likelihood that others would also take up your good attitude, and that would have an effect on them as well.
Okay, so the next question is, can a team leader be a good motivator?
Yeah, definitely. If a team leader, if a team has got a really difficult task, you need to have a team leader who motivates everyone. Because if you know that you have a deadline which is close to non-achievable, you need someone who would pat you on your back and say, everything will be fine. So that really helps. And we have all been in those situations. So yeah.
Okay, Kinza wants to know whether expecting acknowledgement from the people you help in the team is right or wrong, and what if they do not acknowledge your support?
Personally, I feel there is nothing wrong in actually expecting and having this expectation. but I think generally it doesn't work that way. It's not that people don't they do it on purpose, but when you have got a lot of tasks, sometimes you just mess up in appreciating others. That's something that as a cultural, it's a cultural thing also that you could actually bring in if you're part of a particular team, where you start appreciating others. If you think that someone has been really helpful, there's no harm if you just send him or her a thank you email. Thank them for their help. So that culture unfortunately is not there, but I think that's a very valid point, Kanzil.
Okay, Anam wants to know that how important is it to interact with the team members when you're out of the office? For example, if you have to attend social events, how important is that to attend each and every event?
Social event meaning an office social gathering
Yeah,
or just a
official
team
social event.
official social event. Well, for official, you would have to like I'll give you my example. I'm a very it seems that I'm a very social person, but actually in reality I'm not. I have got a few friends who I just interact with after this job, and that's what I like to do. And I would not. It's not that I have anything against anyone that I'm working with at office, but it's just that you have a different personality, and you would not want to work. You would want to go out with them 24/7. So that's my thing. But that's exactly what I'm trying to say. That everyone would have a different feel about it. So, but if it's an activity planned just to for a team building activity, so then you should be participating in it, and you should be proactively giving your views, telling them what needs to be done and what your concerns are. It's also very important to actually raise your concerns rather than being quiet and sitting in a corner.
Okay, so Zain actually has a comment and then a question related to it. It's pretty huge. Let me just
Sure.
summarize.
Sure.
So he's actually comparing Wright brothers and Samuel Pierpont Langley. So Samuel had a team and they had a lot of government funding and support of media. On the other hand, Wright brothers, who launched their first flight, did not have any financial support or any team. But at the same time, Wright brothers were more successful. So, and that was because they knew what they wanted to do. So it's not. So he's saying that it's not really about team skills and confidence. It's more about knowing what you're doing. So what's your take on that?
Well, I think team building is very important because when you go and start working in an organization, most of the time you'll be given tasks in groups. You know, so if you don't have that personality to work in that group, and if you're rigid, and if you're fixated about a certain way, if you have a certain way of doing things, and if you're not flexible, the reflection the organization will get from you would not be a good one. Uh, I'm not sure because I haven't read how Wright brothers were better from this example, but I can give you a lot of examples where team really accomplished a lot of things. And there were individuals who were just really extraordinary also within those teams. So in business world, you need to understand how these organizations work and they operate. So that's why I feel that uh, having being a good team player would really help. Be helpful.
Okay, so Muhammad Aslam is saying that does dysfunctional or individual role, or in fact, is dysfunctional or individual role necessary for the team? If yes, then please let us know how they are helpful.
It's not you can't you're actually assembling a team of 5 to 6 different people. I might be a dysfunctional character in one team, but I might be a star in another team. I might be dysfunctional because I don't have an interest in that particular the project. So maybe I'm dysfunctional just because of that. So never typecast anyone that they are dysfunctional. So dysfunctional is just, it's not that someone, an individual could be dysfunctional, like Taimur is dysfunctional or Midhat is dysfunctional. Dysfunctional is an outcome, and an outcome could be, there could be a lot of reasons for it. So if you are going to be working in a team, you need to have an empathy for others, and you need to understand why this person is not performing to their level that they should be performing or they could be performing. So that is very important, to have empathy. So,
Okay. Zaid wants to know that if there is a team member who is not doing the allocated work, what should we do?
I think you should be honest and you should be vocal. You should tell them straight that this is not how it should be done. Uh, you, there are two things. I think a lot of people confuse that you have to work in a way that you're diplomatic about things. But if you feel that if the team's work would be compromised because someone's actions, then you need to be vocal about it. You need to tell the right authority. If you're the authority, then you need to put them to task and you need to tell them that this is not how it's going to be. You need to improve on this particular aspect, or you need to work on this the other aspect. That is, you need to be very clear.
I think we'll link Umair's question to that as well, how to improve communication between the team members. I think this is related to what you just spoke about.
I think, as I said earlier, also the communication is mostly about listening. It is about understanding each other. So if you have got good comprehension skills, if you can understand what they are trying to say and why they are saying it, that would be really, really helpful for you. You might see a reaction which you might sort of interpret as a negative one, or you might just say that they don't understand and they don't have the competence, and you might you my whole the point that I was trying to come to is that don't judge anyone. Just try to listen, try to have a empathy side to the relationship that you have with your team members, and try to understand why would they, and even if after understanding them, and if you're going through the process, you feel that they just aren't there, then you need to be honest and just tell them, that I think that something is not right. There's no harm in it, because you need to be truthful. Uh, there's no point in just dragging it if it's not working.
Mohammed Aslam is asking if reward for any project is not sufficient to achieve the objectives, does it affect performance of a team? If yes, then how to deal with it?
Sorry.
He's relating the team with the reward. So he's saying that if the reward for any project accomplishment is not sufficient, does that really affect the performance of the team? If yes, then how to deal with it?
I think there's been a lot of researches on the reward side of it. It's an HR related, it's a hot topic in HR. But what they HR experts, what they feel is that it's more about recognition. People can let, if the compensation or the reward has not been as was expected by team members or an individual, they can live with that. But they cannot live if they are not recognized for something which they feel that they have done, which was extraordinary. So that's why it's very important to pat on each other's back and say, well done, you did good, and that is something that would actually help you in your team as well, if you are the sort of a guy who would encourage everyone. On the other side, if you think about reward, reward in itself right now where you guys stand, it should be about gaining new experiences. Because you're at a stage where you are developing new competencies. The more competencies or the more experiences you have would have a lasting effect on your career. So if you get good at something because of being part of a project, that would actually pay you off like in 15, 20 or 30 years. So you should have that in your plans also, that the learning side of it has to be there wherever you or whatever you're doing.
Okay, Muhammad Salman is saying that sometimes members of the team have personality conflict, which would be a big distraction to accomplish tasks. So they need to know your suggestions in order to avoid.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, this is very common. You do come across difficult bosses even. So the team leader might be a very difficult person, a rigid person. But you need to be positive 24/7. And if you feel that you have been compromised in some way where you've not been handled fairly, you should talk about it. Why should you not talk about it? You should tell the person who has not been fair with you that uh, this is not acceptable. You should uh, talk about it.
Um, is it good for a team to have some team members who challenge the ideas for improvement of team performance?
I think that's fantastic. As an accountant, you need to challenge everything. Uh, if you want to develop skills, if you're just fine with what has been presented to you, and if you don't have any questions about it, you'll never be able to conceptualize the process. So if you want to have good comprehension, you need to have good questions as well. So this is very important. Challenging is a really big part of becoming an accountant. Uh, our job is to actually go and tell the management where they are going wrong in terms of what they need to do to actually improve the situation. So how can you be that person if you don't have that skill set where you don't challenge others? And, but you also need to be careful where you don't cross the line. Challenging is one thing, and being aggressive is totally different. So sometimes people sort of merge the both, which actually doesn't work.
Okay, so Muhammad Zain is referring to the same example that we had earlier, Wright brothers, and now he's asking for any other example because he's saying that just like Apple came, which was a new in the market, and IBM was there for a long
Apple
time.
had a team actually. Zain, the Apple, although it was the brainchild of everybody knows Steve Jobs, but he had a team. If you just go through, there were a lot of 4 or 5 people who were really critical to what he was doing, and were part of the entire process. And Steve Jobs was the leader. As a leader, he was a very difficult person to work with. A lot of people, if you've read what about Steve Jobs, you know that he was a difficult person, but he knew what he wanted, and he had a team to actually deliver on that. So he knew exactly what he wanted from iPod. He knew exactly what he wanted from iPhone. He knew exactly what he wanted from a Macintosh system, operating systems. So he was a visionary, but he had the team to deliver. And I read a very interesting book, article, in fact, on Tim Cook, the guy who's replaced him. Uh, Tim Cook, who used to be the head of operations with Steve Jobs. Now, this guy was a really uh, difficult person, again, just like Steve, and taskmaster. So, in a meeting, he said China has got a really good opportunity, and there were like 3 to 4 directors. He looked at one and said, "What are you still doing here?" And then in that meeting, that guy left. I don't remember exactly what his name was. He took a ticket and just went to China just to see the opportunity that they had in China at that time. So, high performing teams generally have leaders who are pretty driven and who are very aggressive. So, to be part of that team, I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea. That's what I'm trying to say.
Um, I don't see any other questions.
But Zain, you're right when you talk about Wright brothers. There are people who have this visionary or out of the box kind of a thing, but it happens very rarely. Most of the time, you'd be working in and trying to be compatible with others. No more questions?
No more questions?
I'm surprised no questions on YLP. I mean, there were a lot of questions when you guys registered. There were a lot of people asked us, what is YLP? So, are you clear, or everybody is clear on what Young Leadership Program is?
I think they will, let's just conclude this session first. Uske baad you can tell about YLP again.
I think I'm done.
You're done? Acha, theek hai. So you can tell about that.
You could close the presentation if you want.